it's pretty clear that he didn't go to the island. She says this, and then she says, at least in Somalia, we execute pedophiles, i.e., like Trump. And I think a lot of the recklessness that she's speaking about, because she's getting very reckless now, that shows me, and I think the people who are listening, that she's desperate and she's afraid, and she's afraid and desperate for what?
Let me tell you who I'm fed up with. Ilhan Omar. And I know I ain't the only one. What's up, everybody? It's your Huckleberry here, back with another video. Did y'all see how she was acting the other night? Trump was trying to give his State of the Union address, heckling from the crowd, talking about he's killing people, and then when everybody was chanting USA, she's chanting KKK. Look, this chick just wants to keep digging a hole. She can't explain how her wine business apparently generated millions of dollars and they hadn't even sold a bottle of wine. She's gonna be trash talking white people, but she's married to one. I don't understand this chick at all. She is a legit Somali pirate. You know what I'm saying? She is the captain now. Ridiculous. Well, I got a video here I want to watch with you guys, and I don't know nothing about it. Some old timer here talking about how people have no idea who she really is. So I'd like to know. I'd like to really know. So let's get into this video and let's see if we can learn something about this scourge to society that we didn't already know.
Two reasons. One, she filed a report, a financial statement that said she could be worth up to $30 million. And the year before, she had almost no money. And the other thing is, of course, the $8, $9, $10 billion Somali fraud is getting very close to her.
One of the most insightful and powerful people in America today is the great Victor Davis Hanson. Let's listen to what he has to say about Ilhan Omar and her comments that Donald Trump is a pedophile who should be executed.
Well, let's turn then to recent comments by Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan Omar and her comments that Donald Trump is a pedophile who should be executed.
This woman hates America, guys. She hates America.
Well, let's turn then to recent comments by Ilhan Omar, who said that Trump is a pedophile and should be executed. She seems to not understand the culture of the United States, that even if she thinks he's a pedophile, he's innocent until proven guilty, and then the whole idea of execution, etc., is extreme.
She has immunity as a member of Congress of what she says, I think, on the congressional floor. The last celebrity who said something similar was George Stephanopoulos. He said that, I think 11 times, that Trump was a racist. Remember in the E. Jean Carroll trial, the judge misspoke, or he was so unprofessional when he said Trump was not convicted of rape, but
the Eugene Carroll case was a crock of shit. That woman is batshit crazy, and if any of that stuff really happened, why is she waiting 30 years to talk about it right before an election? Get out of here with that.
Sexual assault. But he said, what's the difference? But there is a difference under the, a very broad sexual. You can touch somebody; it's a sexual assault. But
yeah, I've been getting sexually assaulted my whole life then.
So she should be careful because there's no evidence. In fact, she had pretty poor timing because, about 48 hours before she said that, a archive emerged where Trump himself had called 2006 before Jeffrey Epstein was even convicted of anything. So he was saying, you got to get this guy out of here. And the subtext was he had seen him with these young girls. And so it's pretty clear that he didn't go to the island. He didn't partake in what Jeffrey Epstein was offering, yet she says this. And then she says, at least in Somalia, we execute pedophiles, i.e. like Trump. But then the point is, well, you've been accused of contrasting in a negative way the United States with this failed state of Somalia. You said that the United States was trashy and dirty. You said that the dictators were worse here. Why would you go back to that meme or theme again, that things are better in Somalia because you execute pedophiles and you don't do it here? Especially given your family's history, where your father was a general who was one of the military hirelings, I guess it's President Barry or whatever his name was, that committed genocide. And that's how you got here. People forget that about her. She poses as a left-wing cause celeb, but she was from the elite of the elite government hierarchy that was conducting a war of death. And that's how they fled here. And I think a lot of the recklessness that she's speaking about, because she's getting very reckless.
Then she lied about her age to get citizenship. Then she married her brother to get him citizenship. And then somehow she came up with $30 million overnight.
Now. And that shows me, and I think the people who are listening, that she's desperate and she's afraid. And she's afraid and desperate for what? For two reasons. One, she filed a report, a financial statement that said she could be worth up to $30 million. And the year before, she had almost no money. So she married this person who she had been paying as a campaign operative. And then he had no money, and now suddenly we find out he has a winery worth millions of dollars. He's got all these businesses. And so the obvious implication is that there are people who were giving him money for influence.
One of those businesses that gets all this money has an address of an IHOP in Miami.
With her. But we don't know that. But she needs to explain how she can be in Congress. I mean, Nancy Pelosi became worth a couple $100 million, but it took she and her husband 40 years with inside trading and all that. She needs to say how she made 30 million in 1 year. And the other thing is, of course, the 8, 9, 10 billion dollar Somali fraud is getting very close to her. She knows that she's the pinup girl for Somali. She, by her own volition, she wanted to be the face of the Somali immigrant. And,
she's the captain
75% of the people are on public assistance, first and second generation Somalis. So if you go, if you want to be the pinup for the Somali immigrant community, then when you think that in the post-George Floyd woke era that's cool and neat, and you're going to get a Somali mayor, which they almost had, and you were taking over Minnesota, and then when things go south, because
that was a crock of shit too, how they almost elected that mayor, and then they found out about all that fraud, that voter fraud. Oh my God, dude. Minnesota is in terrible shape. What was the statistic? Like 70 to 80% of the Somalians are unemployed, living off of welfare. It's like 90%. If of the ones that have been there for 10 years, still like 90% of them are on welfare.
Somali community is disclosed, and then all of a sudden you say, I'm not, I had nothing to do with it. Well, she did. And all of these people, everybody in elected office, Fry, Waltz, Ellison, either got money from the Somali community or knew what was going on.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the great Victor Davis Hanson. He's just a pleasure to listen to. What a gentleman, and what a scholar for that matter. And he brings out some very important points about Ilhan Omar. Let's review who Ilhan Omar is. She was born in Somalia. She came to America as, I think, a 12-year-old or something like that. Her father was actually a general, which he pointed out, of some of the warlords, the aggressive and destructive personalities in the state of Somalia. She came to Minnesota. She became a congresswoman eventually. But since she's been a congresswoman, she's just spewed horrific anti-Semitism, horrific hatred for the institutions in the United States. And just think about what that means. The people that built this country, the Judeo-Christian civilization that built up American society on biblical values, the freedom that America provided for the world, its defeat of the Nazis, its defeat of the Germans in the First World War, the Nazis in the Second World War, its liberation of millions and hundreds of millions of people from the former Soviet Union, and so on. So America's just an incredible country, the greatest technology, the greatest doctors, the greatest universities. And she comes to this country taking a lot of probably welfare products from this country and country health.
Yeah, a lot. And just trash talking the whole time. Oh, God, I'm so fed up with her.
Helping her like they've helped, 80,000, 100,000 Somalians. And instead of being thankful and becoming a productive citizen.
None of the Somalians are productive. Like, okay, we'll give them 1%.
Let's juxtapose her with Ayaan Hirsi Ali, a woman who I've had privilege to interview just a few weeks ago. She also came from Somalia. She went to Holland. She became a member of parliament. Eventually, she came to America. But this woman is working, she's educated, she's helping people, she's supporting Judeo-Christian civilization, she's contributing to society. A person like Ilhan Omar is just taking from
There's your
society. She
1%.
peddles what we call grievance politics. Grievance works because people pay for it. Socialism pays for it. The far left wing pays for it. Until you start seeing it really isn't about honest grievance. It's about power and money. Ilhan Omar has been said now to have earned $30 million in the last few years. That's unbelievable.
She gets paid like $174,000 a year. If she didn't spend a dime, it would take her like 15 years, almost 20 years to make that money.
And her community has been accused of stealing perhaps billions of dollars and sending that to Somalia from welfare programs. So, and worse than that, worse than all that, is this woman who takes the American government, who hates our president, who hates the Jewish community. She's a rabid, vocal anti-Semite who uses terms like that the Jews hypnotize the world. It's about the Benjamins, maybe. She's a vile anti-Semite, spewing hatred against this country. Yet the mainstream media just seems to just love her and accept her. But now she's just gone too far. She says that Donald Trump is a pedophile, has never been accused of a pedophile or never been found to be a pedophile. I think the latest findings in the Epstein file show he wasn't a pedophile. In fact, he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago or said arrest this man or something many years ago. It's all a lot of
called the
nonsense
FBI.
against Donald Trump. But then to say he should be executed, a woman that came from Somalia where they executed people, to the freedom of the United States, who is bequeathed with all this wealth, this power of democracy, education, medicine, welfare, and education in the United States, and to attack the president, to say he should be executed, just shows her true colors coming out of Somalia, where she came from. She's behaving as if she's still in Somalia, trying to execute people. And I think Victor Davis Hanson just...
So she said this in an X post. She said, at least in Somalia, we execute pedophiles. She posted that on X.
Points her out exactly for who she is. He says that she's just taken on a bit too much than she can handle at this point. Well, let's hope and see what happens with the tremendous eye on the welfare state in Somalia, the tremendous amount of hatred coming out of Somalia, and the tremendous violence we're seeing in a place like Minnesota. Tremendous violence, social violence, perpetrated by people like Ilhan Omar, the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, and the Red Green Alliance, the socialists.
Stirring up agitation, feeding people just lies and idiocracy, making them get out on the street and do stupid things and end up getting them killed.
Palestinian activists, the pro-DEI people, along with the Islamists, all gaining power by networking, fighting police, destroying society. I think what they're doing is they're actually destroying Minnesota. And if people like Ilhan Omar take over the country, they'll end up destroying the country, like Zohar Mamdani now is destroying New York City. But
Okay, so that was a good video. I want to show you guys now.
I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public
Who acts like this in Congress? Like, come on.
officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country. And
This Palestinian idiot over here too, but that's not our focus.
you should be ashamed of yourself.
Look at her flaring nose and her eyes, the hate, the disgust. She hates our country, guys. She hates it. She wants to turn our great country into a cesspool, just like Somalia. She is a real problem. Alright guys, that's the video. I think it's important that people know the facts on this crazy lunatic and they don't get caught up in what she hides behind. Don't forget where she came from. Don't forget what her family came from. Just her commenting to execute Trump. I mean, She's unhinged and a real problem. I'm your Huckleberry. You can call me Huck. Hopefully we'll see you next time. You're Daisy if you do. Peace. She ain't no fucking Daisy.